Well, COGFA has for a number of years had a pretty sophisticated team of people that look at revenue projections. They look at the economic climate. They look at national figures to determine what they think that revenues are going to be for this upcoming year. It is not an exact science, however, and so that's where you have a difference between COGFA and the two legislative offices and the governor's office.
So, why COGFA's numbers? Why are they higher than the houses? Like,
Yeah,
why is it? Why is there these total differences among four projections?
well, I think COGFA is taking a very scientific approach. They're looking at the numbers. They're seeing that the last quarter that the economy has been improving in Illinois, and so revenue numbers are up, and they're basing it on that. What they don't base it on, however, is the what the actions are politically that could affect those numbers. For example, what's happening in Japan, what new taxes are being put into place into Illinois, the gas prices that are rising to slow the economy down. So they're basing it on purely scientific data that was put together really before a lot of these other things have come into play. So I think their numbers are overly rosy, and we need to be much more conservative, especially in light of what's happening with the oil numbers, what's happening with Japan and the fallout from that, and as well as what unfortunately, what the governor and the legislative majority is doing in Illinois that's negatively affecting business.
So, going back to it, like, what does it mean that there's actually different projections? That the Senate has their own version, the governor has his own version, and the House have their own version. Like, what does that mean?
Well, it means we have four different caucuses, and then you have the governor's office, and then you also have the COGFA. So what you're getting is six different analysis of economic numbers. That's a good thing because what you're doing is you're not having one size fits all. You're not relying on just one study. And so what the legislature needs to do is take all six of those into consideration. Then they need to also look at the latest economic and political climate and what's going on, and then pick a number that all can agree with. And that's usually what happens when the budget is done. Unfortunately, the last few years, the governor and the legislative majority have been using, outlandish projections to try to make their budgets work, and then the legislature's budgets have fallen short dramatically every year. So hopefully they'll be more conservative in their number, and they'll take the more conservative of those numbers. But again, the fact that there's different numbers coming from the different sources is a good thing. It means that a lot of people have put a lot of thought into coming up with revenue numbers.
Senator, is there anything else you'd like to add regarding COGFA's numbers or anything about any budget projections?
No, again, I think what we need to be very mindful of is that these numbers were derived looking at the last quarter when things were turning around, economic numbers were improving, but that was before oil, that was before what's happened in Japan, that's before what's talking about with new taxes being put on in Illinois. So I think we would be much better served, and the taxpayers would be better served if we use a more conservative number so we can make sure that we can actually have a true balanced budget this year.
So when you're talking about the last quarter, are you talking about state numbers or nationwide patterns?
Both.
Okay.
Both our state revenue numbers. The numbers for January, February, and March are higher than what was projected a year ago. And that is because the economy is doing, the first quarter was doing better than what was projected. But now we're seeing some slowing down, especially because of the oil prices, and consumers are spending more now on gasoline and are concerned about the overall economy, and so they're cutting back and retracting, and so revenues are slowing down.
Anything else, Senator, you'd like to
I
add?
think you got it.
All right. Thank you.